Hi everyone, welcome back to my card making series. This is part 4 and I'm going to be making 3 more cards. So I've pulled out some new card blanks from my stash because I've run out of the ones from the kit, and I've inked it up again in antique linen distress oxide, and I'm basically using up my scraps now. So I'm adding this dotty pattern paper with a bit of lace in the background just to add a bit of texture. And I did that with double-sided tape, and I want to use this topper up, and I'm thinking about some different embellishments I could use with it. So I like these snowflakes, but before I stick down the topper I decide I want another bit of texture, so I add this pale yellow ribbon, and I'm almost out of this ribbon. So now I decide that I'm happy with that, but I want a little bow. So I have a couple attempts at creating a bow. And then when I get one that I'm happy with, I trim the edges at an angle to stop the ribbon from fraying. And now I'm going to attach that bow with a glue dot and some Ultimate Medium. And then I have a think about these snowflake embellishments again. And those snowflakes are cut from that organza ribbon I showed you in my previous video. I think I bought that in Primark or Aldi's last year. And I'm going to add this little brad, which is basically a pale yellow pearl brad, to the middle of the bow, and I do that with a glue dot and a bit of Multi-Matte Medium again. And I'm just having a look for different embellishments that might work. I decide that the gold is too much and I'm not keen on it, so I go back to this kind of rose gold looking snowflake ribbon and I cut one more out. So I'm just fussy cutting the organza from around the glitter design. And then I'm going to be sticking these down with Multi-Matte Medium. But before I do that, I decide that I need to work out where my top is going to go. So I colour in this silver Merry Christmas sticker with a honeycomb pro marker, and I'm going to add that on top of a piece of cardstock which I ink with the same distress oxide, just so that the colours match. It was quite difficult to see that sentiment on the orange background paper because the colours were too similar, so I thought bringing in this colour at the bottom of the card would help ground it. And I'm going to be using my craft knife to help me position that sticker onto the little panel that I've created. And then I decide it's just a little bit too big, so I'm going to trim it down a little. But before I do that, I'm going to just double check that it's straight with my T-square ruler. I really love this ruler. I think I'd be lost without it. I never thought I needed one, and now I've got one. I couldn't imagine living without one. So I'm going to commit to this topper, and I'm going to use some foam to pop it up. I'm pretty much just using my scraps up here. And then I'm going to work on the snowflakes after I've made sure that my sentiment is on straight. Now, because the rose gold colour was slightly different and I didn't have that colour in the background, I decided that I would make them more orange with my honeycomb pro marker. And I'm going to adhere these using Multi-Matte Medium, but because the pro marker might seep through or bleed, I decide that I'm going to cover up the middle where I put the pro marker with some sequins, which you'll see in a moment. And these sequins I got from the range, but don't buy them there because they have them in Poundland at the moment. They come in a little circle packet. I think I said that on my last video. But yeah, so if you want those, have a look in Poundland. And I'm just adding these little gems, which I've also coloured with that honeycomb marker to make them match, and I'm putting that in the centre of the sequins. And that is my card finished, apart from just a bit of adhesive under the topper. There you go. So now this is the second card, and I'm yet again using that Distress Oxide colour, and I'm so surprised. I really didn't think I would use antique linen that much, but it's becoming one of my favourite colours. So I'm backing it in that sort of snowfall coral coloured paper, and I'm going to create a panel ribbon now. So I've got this yellow ribbon, and I'm going to edge it with some lace, just hiding the adhesive behind the ribbon really, because lace shows through adhesive, and it doesn't matter how you do it, it always shows, so it's best just to hide it behind something. So I'm just trimming that off to make sure it's flush and giving that a good stick down. And I decided I'm going to use this topper, so I put a bit of the same ribbon that's on the background through the eyelet hole, and I'm going to pop this up on the background. And off camera I've already gone and added diamond stickles and Nouveau drops and crystal glaze and things to my toppers, just to make them look a bit more special, just so you don't have to watch me do that on camera. And I use this spray again, the Flourish from Make a Create brand, which you can buy at the works, and I believe they still have these in stock because I've seen them recently. So I'm just going to do that with some multi-matte medium, and I just put little dots really. I use my tweezers to hook that around the topper, and I edged this little sentiment topper with my Pro marker in Honeycomb again, and I'm going to add some Galaxy Gold Brilliance ink too, and then I'm going to use a few scraps and pop up that sentiment with some double-sided tape and some foam, and then I add some diamond stickles to the edges. This is something, just to make it match the topper really. Then I use my T-square ruler again, and that's my second card finished, and here's the close-up. Now we're on the third and final card. I love watching myself make these videos because I just think how cool would it be if I could really craft this fast, because this is 8 times faster than I actually go. So I've just backed the card with this plaid pattern, and I'm trimming it down just because my card base wasn't entirely straight. And I've made this panel out of this scrap of the snowfall coral cardstock, and I've added some foam tape to the back of that and lace down the sides. And I'm not going to lie, I found this card quite difficult to make. I really wanted to start using up some of these toppers, and this yellow one I was finding particularly difficult because the yellow and the green tones were quite different to the other yellow and green tones in the other pattern paper. So the top is quite bright, whereas the background paper is quite muted. So I'm having a think about how to bring those colours in together, and I decide using some of the shapes and branches that I've die cut from the dies that came with the kit is probably going to be the answer. So I focus mainly on these lime greeny colours. So I pick a plain lime green and a sort of glittery lime green. And I also need to anchor the spray with the green that's in the background, so I use this Make and Create die again from the works, and I cut it in this muted green colour, which I'm going to overlay some of these lime green elements onto. I don't actually go with this little cluster that you're seeing at the bottom right at the moment, but I'm just having a play to see what I like. I actually end up doing a spray that's kind of like an L shape. I tried to make one of these little pine cones smaller because I wanted a little element to put on my topper, but it didn't work out. So I cut the clip there just so you didn't have to watch me do every single iteration that I tried. But as I said, I ended up with this little spray, and I've grounded it with the muted green, and then I've added the holly leaves in the glitter. and the branch in the glitter lime green on top, just to bring in the lime green of the topper. And I mount the topper with some foam tape, well, some foam and tape. And then I decide to add this little muted yellow ribbon, and that's to bring in the muted yellow from the background up to the topper element. It's kind of like a segue between the bright green, the bright yellow and the muted yellow again. And then I want to add a sentiment, but this isn't quite the right colour. I don't like the gold with the yellows, so I colour that with my Apple Pro marker again, and I just stick that down with some multi-matte medium, and that's my card finished. So you're going to see a close-up in a moment, just after I add this extra holly leaf. And I just wanted to say thank you for you guys watching my videos. I really appreciate it. I would love it if you could subscribe. I am doing a series, so I don't want you to miss out on the other cards that I make with this kit. And I really enjoy sharing it with you. So if you could like and subscribe and hit the notification button, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.